for example. A 2018 survey by the Public Religion Research Institute, PRRI, found that African American and Latino citizens were 3 times as likely as whites to be told they lack the proper identification to vote, and twice as likely to be told, incorrectly, that their names were not listed on voter rolls. Laws barring convicted felons from voting disproportionately affect African Americans, and non-white citizens still do not receive equal protection under the law. Black men are more than twice as likely to be killed by police during their lifetime as are white men, even though black victims of police killing are about half as likely to be armed. They are more likely than white men to be stopped and searched by police, and they are more likely to be arrested and convicted, with longer sentences for similar crimes. If you have any doubt that black citizens do not enjoy the same rights under the law as white citizens, apply the Kyle Rittenhouse test. Could a young black man cross state lines with a semi-automatic rifle, walk unmolested by police into a protest, fire into a crowd, kill 2 people, and go free? But if America is not yet a truly multiracial democracy, it is becoming one. In the half-century between the passage of the Voting Rights Act and Donald Trump's rise to the presidency, American society changed in fundamental ways. A massive wave of immigration transformed what had been a predominantly white Christian society into a diverse and multi-ethnic one. And at the same time, the growing political, economic, legal, and cultural power of non-white Americans challenged and began to level long-entrenched racial hierarchies. Public opinion research shows that for the first time in U.S. history, a majority of Americans now embrace ethnic diversity and racial equality, the 2 key pillars of multiracial democracy. By 2016, then, America was on the brink of a genuinely multiracial democracy, one that could serve as a model for diverse societies across the world. But just as this new democratic experiment was beginning to take root, America experienced an authoritarian backlash so fierce that it shook the foundations of the republic, leaving our allies across the world worried about whether the country had any democratic future at all. Meaningful steps towards democratic inclusion often trigger intense, even authoritarian reactions. But the assault on American democracy was worse than anything we anticipated in 2017, when we were writing our first book, How Democracies Die. We have studied violent insurrections and efforts to overturn elections all over the world, from France and Spain to Ukraine and Russia to the Philippines, Peru, and Venezuela. But we never imagined we'd see them here. Nor did we ever imagine that one of America's 2 major parties would turn away from democracy in the 21st century. The scale of America's democratic retreat was sobering. Organizations that track the health of democracies around the world captured it in numerical terms. Freedom House's Global Freedom Index gives countries a score between 0 and 100 each year, with 100 being the most democratic. In 2015, the United States received a score of 90, which was roughly in line with countries like Canada, Italy, France, Germany, Japan, Spain, and the UK. But after that, America's score declined steadily, reaching 83 in 2021. Not only was that score lower than every established democracy in Western Europe, but it was lower than new or historically troubled democracies like Argentina, the Czech Republic, Lithuania, and Taiwan. This was an extraordinary turn of events. According to nearly every major social scientific account of what makes democracies thrive, America should have been immune to backsliding. Scholars have discovered 2 virtually law-like patterns regarding modern political systems. Rich democracies never die, and old democracies never die. In a well-known study, the political scientists Adam Jaworski and Fernando Lamongi found that no democracy richer than Argentina in 1976, its per capita GDP in today's dollars was about $16,000, had ever broken down. Democracy